Becoming a great street photographer takes time. Not only does a growing photographer must possess a level of sensitivity when it comes to telling a story, they must possess a high level of photo taking skills in order to create the most captivating and most profound images in order to get their message across. With that being said, I think a lot of young urban storytellers who desire to expose the societal plagues, realities, and sometimes beauty of urban life often overlook the need to develop the appropriate skills in order to tell an affecting story. While our hearts are often heavy for those who battle drug abuse, homelessness, mental illness, among other things, we tend to ignore the skills needed in order to tell these subject stories. If the photo taken has been poorly constructed, then the story intended will never be told in its full effectiveness. I mention all of this because I believe that I was, and still am, one of those individuals who are intensely adamant in becoming a great urban storyteller without ever considering where I am as a photographer in terms of my skill set. Looking back at the beginning of this course, I was not ready to tell a meaningful story effectively because I could not compose a photo that was visually compelling in itself. Thankfully, over the course of this semester, I was able to finally come into my own as a decent urban storyteller as a result of me deciding to focus on becoming a strong overall photographer first and foremost. With this goal shift, which happened mid-semester, the images I have been able to capture, specifically my street photography, has become more alluring and more readily available to tell a story. There were two things I did in order to improve myself over the semester, focusing on basic technicalities, but most importantly, finding great photographers to emulate. My inclination to look deeply and study the work of great photographers brought in mind a quote from David Lynch, the greatest living filmmaker and artist alive. He said, "Ideas are like fish. If you want to catch a little fish, you can stay in the shallow water. But if you want to catch the big fish, you've got to go deeper. Down deep, the fish are more powerful and purer. They're huge and abstract, and they're very beautiful." While not a street photographer, Lynch's words managed to resonate deeply in the way I take photos. I want to catch those big fish which Lynch speaks of, but in order to do this, I had to shed the presupposition that everything which I create artistically must be completely original. Because as I soon found out, good art borrows from great art. Through intense studying of photographers like Alex Webb, Alex Soth, Todd Hito, Lee Friedlander, I realized that they all take a similar approach to creativity as Lynch describes. As a result, when I am doing street photography, once a small abstracted idea or image pops up in my head, an impulse rises within me to capture this abstracted idea floating around in my subconscious at that very moment through a photo. The images that are displayed within this slideshow are a direct result of their influence upon me. While my journey as an aspiring street photographer focused mainly on becoming a better overall photographer, I did want to focus my photos specifically under an umbrella idea that concerns itself with a dynamic between urban and suburban inhabitants with infrastructure surrounding them. With that being said, it's interesting how the rapid increase of building things coexists with a descent of humanity, especially with those who are disadvantaged, like that one homeless man lying down right behind your favorite coffee shop. We as a society love to consume and enjoy the fruits of rapid capitalism, and yet we have no regard for those who are negatively affected by the things that drive our privileged happiness. How do we fix this? I don't know, honestly. But I don't want to provide the answers either, because I don't have them. Instead, I want to create an understanding of the increasing gentrification of places like Los Angeles or San Francisco, or even my hometown of San Bernardino, while highlighting how these realities are vital to understanding urban society as it is today.